All right, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking you through day 2 of Wife in Pursuit. This is the book we're going to be going through the next few days. Again, you don't have to have the book to do it with me and to do the challenges, but I think I'm already on day 2 and I'm already blown away by how good it is. So kind of want to point a couple things out. Day 2 talks about genuine generosity. So with that, I didn't know really where we were going. I was a little like, what is happening? But I was shocked by how good the points were. So it said, kind of talked about feeling depleted and feeling empty. And I think as women, we can always relate to that. I think that we are trying to keep everything going. And that's kind of what she talks about, trying to keep everything going. And then it ends up kind of making us completely empty. And so the question was, how can I possibly pursue my husband generously when I feel so empty most of the time? And she said the answer is Jesus, which I agreed. Through his word, he gently and lovingly pursues me and reminds me that he is my living water, that he is calling, come to me and drink. In an instant, he refreshes, moving me from thirsty to overflowing, from scarcity to abundance. That's quite a reversal. So I just love this because, we tend to always focus on what our spouse is doing. Well, he's not doing this and that's why I'm empty, and he's not doing this and I have this many kids and this is crazy and this is crazy. And we tend to always focus on that. And so what happens is we kind of lose our, we're always empty. We kind of lose our desire to be a spouse. But Jesus is the reason. And he's the one who fills me up. And so it says right here, it says, when I'm feeling tired, weary, or parched, I just simply need to drink. It's really not that complicated. It's really not that hard. I just need to get out my Bible and drink. Pursuing your husband becomes a delight rather than a burden when you are secure in Jesus. Whew, that's good. That's real good. Pursuing your husband becomes a delight rather than a burden when you are secure in Jesus. Where is my identity? What am I focused on? And then that should translate into how I act, into how I love my husband. So the reflection is, how do you treat your husband when you feel tired and depleted? Are there ways you can improve? And so for me, to be honest, I tend to really be snippy. I don't know if that's a word, but I think it is. I tend to really be just snappy and like sassy and full of poor comments and, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that if I'm really tired and depleted. And that's not fair. He deserves better, and he doesn't do that to me. So he deserves better. And so there are ways that I can improve that. I think some of it is just not saying anything. I think some of it is just taking a breath. Honestly, just taking a breath and thinking before I speak. What are 3 ways you can be more generous to your husband, even when you don't feel up to the task? So I think this can be different for everyone. I encourage you to write down what your 3 ways are. But my 3 ways are no snippy comments. I'm not allowed to say anything sassy just because I'm tired. Cook for him. Sometimes I wait really long time because I don't feel up to it to cook and things and clean, and so I shouldn't wait until I feel up to it or until I feel like he's done enough to do those things. I should be doing those things anyway. So those are my 3 things. Pray. Ask God for an attitude of generosity that is rooted in Christ's abundance, and for help in understanding how to rest in Jesus. So that's gonna be my prayer today. So my pursuits was actually really fun. I was not sure how I was going to do this, but I came up with something that I think is special and different from the things I normally do for him. So today's pursuit, in a symbolic gesture of a deeper truth, is a symbolic gesture of a deeper truth. Give your husband a gift or do something generous as a gift. What you give or do doesn't have to have a price tag attached to it, but it can. But it does need to be generous. Explain to your husband what your generosity means, how you want to pursue him generously, just as you have been pursued generously by Christ. And then write down your thoughts and feelings. So this is actually what I'm doing right now today. He hasn't even seen it. He's asleep. But I have set up his office, he has a home office that he loves, and I have set it up with little sticky notes, just like these, like a basic sticky notepad, and I took a pen, and what I am doing is I'm going to be, I feel a sneeze. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. And so what I did is what I thought about doing was just writing on those cards and putting them all over his office. Reasons that I'm thankful for him, why I love him. I'm looking at him right now. And then a couple things that are redeemable. So one of the things I put that were redeemable, I also put some verses on a few of them too. Like I used Ecclesiastes 4:9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. I used Mark 10:9. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no man separate. I put some things, yes, that I'm thankful for. I put some things that I love about him. I love how he protects me. I love when he laughs. I love his heart for Jesus. So I put some things on there, and then I did do 4 redeemable ones. And so the redeemable one is he is a big spender. So I put that he could purchase something and it had to be at least $50. And so he can redeem that at any time when he wants to. I said redeemable, I will take a chore around the house that he does. So he does like taking the dogs for a walk, and he does like the trash, and then anything honestly that I asked him to do. I'm so grateful. And then then I did a redeemable night off. And so I did like a redeemable night off without me, and then I did a redeemable movie night. And so that would just be like me, him, pizza, and a movie. So I did those 4 like redeemable things as well. And so when he comes in here, he's gonna get to see them. So that was my day 2. That's my pursuit. And when he sees them, I will explain to him that I did that because I want to pursue him just as Christ has pursued me. So I thought this one was so good, so life-changing. So I plan on jumping in to day 3, which is ditch the distractions. I'm kind of nervous about this one because I tend to always be distracted. So we'll see how it goes. I'll see you on day 3. Definitely not excited about this day because I'm very distracted. I'm sure most of you are too, and so it talks a lot about social media. So anyway, I'm going to definitely be working on that because I'm definitely a distracted person by nature. So I'm going to definitely be working on that. So it talks about Ephesians 5, 15 through 17. So it says, look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Better use of our time. So I know this one's going to hit me, and I don't want to read it because of that. But anyway, distraction is a human problem, not a technology problem. So no matter what, hey, stop, Luna. No matter what time you are in your life, whether it was in the 1800s or the 1900s, no matter what, there was always a time of distraction. And so even if it wasn't YouTube, it would be something else because it has to do with what the enemy tricks us into believing. So the enemy would love us to believe the lies that screen time costs us nothing and the distraction is harmless, especially if it pertains to our marriage. But I assure you, the opposite is true. And I agree with her on this. I think that Brady and I probably spend, 2 to 3 hours a day on like YouTube and social media. You might not relate to this, but I definitely can. We spend a lot of time on social media. It really hurts us to spend that much time on it. But anyway, I'm just trying to wait for her to stop. Luna, stop. So, anyway, what Paul says to do is to build each other up with psalms and hymns and spiritual songs. So basically what it's saying is I should serenade Brady. I'm just kidding. No, what it's saying is that positive, encouraging pursuit of our husbands. So, as a wife, you can pursue your husband by recognizing opportunities to make the best of your time together and then lovingly initiate high-quality interaction. You may not be successful at killing distractions every time, but it's always worth a try. I know for me, it's hard sometimes, and this is, I love you, Brady, but I'm calling you out. Sometimes it's really hard for me to get Brady off of social media or really YouTube. He's obsessed with YouTube. Sometimes it's really hard for me to get him off of it. So she talks about, choosing, instead of like nagging them off of social media or not worrying about it at all and just saying, well, I could never get them off social media, being loving and intentional and trying to ditch those distractions, being positive in it. And the first thing I think to do is just you put down your phone. I put down my phone. Like, that's what we need to be doing. So this week, it asks a couple questions. Is distraction something you deal with often? If you don't, please put me in your prayers, because you are a goddess. And I don't deserve you on my YouTube channel. So please, because, well, who doesn't just struggle with distraction? And then the second one is, has technology hindered your closeness with Jesus or your husband? Duh. It's hard. Oh my gosh, look at my roots, y'all. Listen, people. June 12th is my next appointment. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry for putting my head down, honestly. Anyway, point being, yes, of course, technology has hindered my relationship with Jesus and my husband. Duh. But I try to, I'm going to work on that. That's what I'm doing. So praying. Ask God for a new alertness towards unwise use of your time. Pray for wisdom and conviction in areas that need to be surrendered to God. Then ask Him for help. This one's not that fun. I don't know. Okay. So the pursuit. I don't want to read the pursuit because I already know it's going to be something like really hard. Like, out of all of the 31 days, this is going to be the hardest day for me. Like, I can already tell. I really love my YouTube. Really love my YouTube. So, anyway, remove all distractions for an entire day or evening. Shut off your phones. Turn off the TV. Cancel activities and see what happens. Get creative with what you do with the time. Try to do or talk about something brand new. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to start this because I should have read this earlier in the day. It is currently 4, can you even see that? It's currently 4:30. More of the story, it's 4:30. So honestly, if I started this tonight, it would be cheating. And since I have a service in just a minute, it wouldn't be fair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start this tomorrow. And so my goal is tomorrow night, he has a Bible study at 7, but we have nothing other than that. And I'm going to try to be distraction free. So I do want to give you just a slight suggestion I learned very quickly. Look through these days. Some of these days require a couple things. So like this one's a heads up. In 2 days, you'll be playing your favorite game together. You may want to make sure you have it on hand. So in a couple days, we're going to be playing a game together. So day 5. So be sure that you have the stuff to do some of this stuff with. I read all the pursuits in advance just so I kind of knew what I was getting into. So like tomorrow's pursuit, day 4, is just being generous with our words. Reading a letter out loud, outlining 3 things you're most grateful for. I am wrong. That will be my hardest day. Wow, that sounds very romantic and horrifying. All right, well, Jesus is working on me. I hope He's working on you. Yes, I know I look like a hot mess express today, and honestly, it just is what it is. Wasn't having a good hair day. And beyond that, Luna. And beyond that, our air conditioner wasn't working for like a solid few hours. So it's like, almost 80 degrees in our house right now. Starting to cool down. Thank you so much to our apartment complex for working with us. And like, yeah, that was great. Anyway, they came and fixed it like 6 o'clock tonight. So that was really nice. But anyway, so we're on day 4. Not gonna lie, this one's hard. I'm interested to hear your feedback on this. Comment below how day 4 goes for you. The wisest words. Day 4. I think we all know sometimes I speak and I say too much most of the time. So it's hard to be careful with my words. But she talked about a Proverbs 31 woman, and she talked about how, she always thought that was like, what you had to do to be godly, not what a godly woman is like. And I thought that was really really good. The life of a woman of God is indeed one of becoming like the Proverbs 31 woman, except the becoming happens because of heart transformation, not behavior modification. And so Proverbs 31:26 says she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. And so I think that, for me, it's often like, oh, so I need to be careful what I say, instead of really letting God transform my heart and the power of the gospel transforming me. It's not really a list of things to do. It's more of, because of the gospel and because of Christ and because of my heart transformation, this is what overflows out of me. Lona, stop. She just scared herself with the broom. Like, how do you do that? So I think that's really huge for us. It's what Christ wants to produce in me, the ability to open my mouth with wisdom. So knowing my identity doesn't just help me keep my mouth shut. It also compels me to speak life when it's needed. So it's more than just knowing when not to nag, which I think is probably something that all of us women struggle with. It's more than that. It's also knowing when to speak life into my husband. And so, it says, fierce wife, what you say matters. Know who you are. And then let your identity in Christ fuel your words. So for me, I literally could sit for like my entire life and think about what was just said there. It's a struggle. It's hard not to say things that you're feeling. It's hard not to nag. It's hard not to be frustrated at times. And it's hard to overflow with positivity and love and appreciation. And sometimes, even for me, I catch myself in it being more of like a thing of, I'm frustrated at someone else, so I know it's not appropriate to say something to them, so I kind of take it out on Brady. And so I think we all have those moments in our life when we need to do better. So I'm really excited to just continue to be poured into by Christ so I can overflow with just my identity in Him and that positivity and love from Christ. So reflect or call a time when someone was generous with you with their words. I would love for you to share that with them. How did it make you feel? I'd love for you to send them just a text of a time when they shared something with you and that was just, they were generous with their words and it meant a lot to you. Share that with them. I know for me, like, gosh, there's been so many times when someone has just lifted me up so much with just their life and their generosity with their words. So how can you use wise words and kind words to intentionally honor and pursue your husband? What can you say to him that will encourage him the most? I think for me, it's just that I believe in him and that I trust him and that he is doing a great job and that I just appreciate all that he does and how he loves the Lord, I think would mean the most to him. So pray. Give thanks to God for transforming you into the woman described in Proverbs 31. Pray for wisdom and kindness in your words to your husband and for the Holy Spirit to convict you when your words are hurtful. So our challenge is super hard. I'm like just embarrassed thinking about it, and I know it's stupid, but whoa. The challenge, or like the pursuit, is pursue him with intentionally generous words. Write a letter to read out loud to him, outlining 3 things that you are most grateful for in him. Consider highlighting how he leads your family, how hard he works, ways he loves you, or how he sacrifices his needs and wants for your family. Be as articulate as you can. Take some undistracted time to sit, pray, and write.